Hello traders, welcome back to the channel. This is Janoy with Trading the Charts Pro, and we're here with one more video to break down the overall market so that we can have an idea what what we're expecting the market to do in this upcoming week based on the technicals, and what kind of patterns are we currently seeing present in the market at this time. All right, so we're gonna break it down. We're gonna start off looking at the S&P 500. And tonight we're gonna switch back and forth with the actual stock market, and we're going to be looking at futures as well, because we're going to be looking for all the clues that can possibly guide us into where the market will make its next move. All right, so looking at the S&P 500, guys, nothing technically is new with the S&P 500. We're still trending up nicely. Last week we talked about the market breaking out of this horizontal resistance level, and yes, we did get a breakout above that level. But there's one thing with the S&P 500 that is concerning me just a little bit. We did talk last time that we're anticipating that the market will try to come back up to its all-time high somewhere around the 4,350 level. Which is technically the resistance level all-time high. But after the market breakout here, I'm seeing where the bulls are really losing momentum, guys. It's like the bulls are not strong. The market is not pushing higher with strong momentum, and that is something that leads me to be very cautious, because typically when the bulls start to run out of strong momentum, that's really the place where bears have the opportunity to start come in and start rolling the market over. So that's something that I'm watching very closely. All right, so when we look at the S&P 500 and we take a quick jump over to the actual ES futures, I need to roll over to my September contract. Today is the last day. So basically we have a nice breakout in here. The futures market is not really up anything significant. So we can see that the market is really stalling out at this level. So I want to be cautious at this, because we broke out, and I was anticipating that we should have gotten some strong momentum starting to push this thing way into the 3,005 to the 3,050 level. So I just want to be super cautious with the fact that the market is starting to lose a little bit of its momentum right here, right? And the futures market is telling us that momentum is not strong going into tomorrow. So that's something that I'm watching out for. All right, let's move on over to the NASDAQ. So NASDAQ is a little bit more interesting, all right, because tech stocks like to take the lead whenever the S&P 500 starts to slow down, as well as the Dow start to slow down. So what I'm looking at on the S&P 500, on the NASDAQ, excuse me, is we're right back into this horizontal resistance. But if we take a look at the big picture of what the NASDAQ is doing, this is actually telling us, or showing me, that there may be a potential next move in or setting up to take place with the actual NASDAQ, right? So I'm looking at this as just a continuation of a big trend in the NASDAQ that just continues to blow out, and the NASDAQ pushing up into around the 15,000 level, which would start connecting it back with this all-time resistance level, moving continuously in an upward motion, because we can see that the NASDAQ is still bouncing off a very nice horizontal support. So this horizontal support level that we're seeing is showing us a bigger pattern of a larger trend. So when we look at that right here right now, technically the market kind of runs up into a ascending triangular pattern on the NASDAQ, and if we clearly break out above the 14,062 horizontal level, then we would have been out of that ascending triangular pattern. And once the ascending triangular pattern is completed, typically what happened is you have a bigger trend that the pattern normally completes, and that bigger trend that the pattern completes is usually a uptrend. So you can see how everything adds up in together. So basically, if we get a clear breakout of this current level that we're sitting at, then the next resistance level would really be into the 15,000 level that I'm looking for the NASDAQ to actually break out and touch into. So if we take a quick switch over to the futures contract for the NASDAQ, we're seeing that, NASDAQ market is currently up. We're up around 21 points, and we're pushing right into that resistance level. Now remember, I always say whenever the market is going to break out, you will see price action come to that resistance level and it will not get rejected. So right now, looking at the futures market, we're sitting at that 14,029 level. So we need to see strong momentum come in and pop this thing over this level. And if we do get that strong breakout, then that would mean that the market is going to continue moving in a upwards fashion. And if we look at the last 3 days, we can see that these candles, they're moving up. The last 3 days ago was pretty strong, and then a day before that up but not so strong, and here we are today, which this candle is not fully formed and until the day is completed, but we haven't turned around yet. So I'm watching this level to see if this thing can break out strong, and if we break out strong, then I'm looking for the NASDAQ market to continue on its way into this uptrend, moving into the 15,000 level. All right, so this is how I'm looking at the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ. If we jump on over to the Dow Jones, guys, the Dow Jones is rolling over. We have hit price action has actually hit its head around the 34,785, and this market is starting to roll over. So technically, in the short term, this is not a place that I would want to be, because this market can pull all the way back down to around 34,000 from where it's currently at right now. That's around 447 points to the downside. All right, 479 points to the downside. If we move on over, looking at IWM Russell 2000 small cap stocks, this market altogether is back into the resistance area. This pattern somewhat is kinda a ascending triangular pattern somewhat, given that we have the horizontal top and we have the diagonal support moving to the upside. We approached the resistance level earlier to the end of this week, pull back, and here this market is currently found a short-term support. So what is critical right here is, does this market continue to bounce and break out above the 234,000, and for the Russell 2000 that'd be 2,340 levels. So that's what I'm actually looking for inside the IWM. But still, in my opinion, I really like the NASDAQ better, because there is a potential for a bigger trend continuation in the NASDAQ. So I'm continuing to watch what's taking place into the NASDAQ. All right, 3 stocks that we previously looked at, I just want to cover a quick update on those to see how we did and how we're still doing if you're still in this trade. I remember we talked about Crowdstrike when this thing was around 202. We talked about a potential 19% upside, and here we are, market price breakout, pull back, and continued up with a strong close on Friday, almost hitting the first target of the 236 level. And this price action, if the NASDAQ breaks out coming tomorrow, will run all the way into potentially the 249 level. But anywhere up here is where I'm looking to close this thing out and take this 19% profit that we entered this trade from around when price initially break above the 50 SMA. We saw that this pattern here was a symmetrical triangular pattern, and once we get a breakout to the upside, this means that price is going to continue in a bullish fashion. The trade is almost to that point where you should be trailing your profits up, looking to close this thing out pretty shortly. Next one is Blink. We talked about Blink as well, right around the $32 level. Talk about a potential 23% upside, and here we are. Price came up to the 42 level, pull back. I'm looking to see a bounce from this level, pushing the price action back into 44.17, and then that would be our short-term target for the 23% upside. You can continue to trail your profits in anticipation of a bigger move back into the $60 level. Use your trailing stop to continue trail to capture as much of this profit as possible if the price action breaks out above the $44 level. All right, so that's how I'm looking at Blink right now. Next one that we looked at is Apple. Guys, Apple has not done anything since we looked at it. Price has literally just moved sideways from our initial analysis of a potential W pattern right here. Yes, the W pattern is somewhat still in play because price action hasn't done anything different. So what I'm looking for is, okay, now we got the double bottom, price runs up, started to move sideways, and from here this has the potential to build a bull flag that breaks out, and then this would continue to move up into the $137 level. So don't sleep on Apple. Don't throw Apple away. You cannot. This is, a very strong company. If you are not in it, this is where I'd buy and continue to buy. If it breaks below the 200 SMA, 200-day moving average, I would no longer, be looking to hold this in the short term. I would more likely to see, where does it stop? If the trend breaks, if it starts selling off, and then I'd look to pick back up that stock from there and start moving it back to the upside. Also, last time we talked about gold, which gold broke out of the downtrend, right? Move up, very nice. Retrace to the 50% retracement level here, or the 38% first level. Now price pull back. Here we are at the 50 EMA, exponential moving average. So I want to see price hold this $23 level, and if we do continue to hold, then I'm looking for a bounce to move this thing back up into the potential 26.46 level. All right, so that's what I'm looking at, guys. And then you guys already know we took profit on Triple D. This is the printing technology, building house by printing them out. Yeah, but here we are, price is pulling back. If we get a very nice bounce out of this level, this can mean that price is looking to make a second leg up, and that second leg up would bring us right into around this $40 small gap fill right around here. So that's a potential 10-point upside. So I want to keep this on the radar, see what it does. All right, so guys, I hope you found some value inside this video. If you did, I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you for watching.